kind of just make stuff up. I'm pretty sure that's what Science Man Blake did.
I'm pretty sure Science Man Blake is
Science Man Blake knew what he was talking about.
Who is Blake? Science Man Blake?
Blake McKinney.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just those.
Can I just be Science Man Blake and be like, just make up random facts?
No,
He will be
Not a science
appearing in
man,
the
just-
So
episode.
you write your article.
Oh, yeah.
God,
You can be write your article, Blake.
Just hit me and I'll multitask while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science Man Blake never had to Google things.
No, he didn't. He just had it.
I'm not Googling things.
Alright. This is the Untitled Mess, Season 1, Episode 4.
4.
Welcome back. 2 special guests this time. I don't know. Keith, are you a regular guest now since this is your 3rd episode?
I thought of a name last night while we were asleep. While I was asleep.
A name.
While we were asleep, we were all
While I
asleep
was
at the same time.
Okay.
You forgot it?
Yeah, I forgot.
That's what happens
Let
in
me
dreams.
think.
You can do like
Let me
the
think.
featured player, like on Saturday Night Live, how like there's cast members and then there's guest stars and there's featured players. So like,
Do that.
I would just
Or like
that.
the guy that feature plays. That's
For the
word
past
for it.
three shows now, this has been the Untitled Mess with Clay Real and Hendrik Sheldon featuring Keith and Starlight. Now,
I'm still thinking of the name.
Good.
alright, so now this is the Untitled Mess with Clay Real and Hendrik Sheldon featuring Keith and Starlight.
3 shots of
And
milk.
Mr. Crow.
That should be our name. 3 shots of milk.
She needs some milk.
But you're black.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
still chocolate milk.
Exactly.
Oh.
Okay. What a great name. I don't.
3 shots of milk.
I like it.
So anyway, we had a number of things to talk about today,
Alright.
mostly surrounding a particular fan theory about a particular movie franchise that we discussed in the first episode.
So we're gonna go ahead and say spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
If you are stupid and haven't seen the movie yet, or if you're deaf and you haven't seen it,
If you haven't seen it, turn this video off. Get in your car. Get the like $11.75 that you need, and like drive to the Bellevue 8. Buy a ticket to Force Awakens and watch it,
Or hit up-
and then come back.
Or hit up your
theaters?
local bootlegger.
I don't know.
if
Yeah,
it's not
no,
in
don't
theaters,
don't bootleg.
That's,
We don't agree with that.
that's terrible.
although you
can't
can
endorse that.
find pirated copies very easily on the internet.
But you shouldn't.
That reminds me of the first time I ever went to New York. There was a guy like that had a blanket, and it was just bootleg movies, all this stuff.
This is all you gotta
And
do
then,
is just sit around and talk.
And then like a police officer walked by, and he like rolled up the New York subways.
It's the Untitled Mess, man.
So like all you gotta
Did he,
do
like,
is just sit around and just talk about random.
Yeah,
Okay.
did he
That's a
just,
po- that's a podcast.
did he just
right
put
there.
the blanket
Okay.
in like the
Like he
cruiser?
just flipped it over, picked it up, and walked away.
The guy
You know he
did
just went and watched those. Like he didn't. It's not like he took those downtown and was like, here's some evidence. He was just like sitting in the squad car all day watching movies.
New York cops, they're interesting.
Yeah.
They weren't very useful in the Avengers.
No.
Yeah, we're not.
Well, they're not very.
What do you
talking
do?
about movie tropes. No police officer, no police force in any film series.
That's a good point.
And I mean, only if it's like the buddy cop movie, and then only certain amounts of them are useful.
That's true. Like they're only like they go through a bunch of blunders, and then they become successful.
Then they become
cops.
successful, yeah. Or it's like these 2 guys do it, and then they have to rally the force, and then like all of a sudden the entire police force is like, yeah, we're now competent, and then they rush into battle.
Yeah.
Thanks to this one white guy and this one black guy that have now formed this cohesive unit, we now all will be
Together.
good police officers.
Spoiler alert: Dark Knight Rises. That's exactly what happened.
Completely
It took
incompetent.
Commissioner Gordon to come back and like tell them all, you know what, you're not useless. Let's
I've
go.
never seen that movie.
Well, you're missing out, dude.
You've
It's
not
awesome.
seen
He
movies,
hasn't
Blake.
seen-
That's your thing. It's like, I haven't seen it.
So
Like,
that's Star
I haven't
Wars,
seen that one.
Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
I haven't
Dark
seen
Knight.
I haven't seen Lord of the Rings, but I did watch Hobbit.
But he had, yeah. But
Every
he
I've
time
only
you-
seen one Lord
Every
of the
time
Rings.
you just say
What?
not see
I know,
movie
that's-
blank, and
that's
I'll
blasphemy.
That's like pretty unbelievable for
That's
me.
terrible.
For,
That's-
like the types of movies.
Your
No,
nerd,
I've
your
seen-
nerd card just like went way down. You haven't seen. It's the
I
second
prefer
greatest.
geek.
I
That's
apologize.
a better term.
Geek is
That's my title.
geek is the proper terminology. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, Science Man Blake is a nerd.
Okay, so wait,
We're
Dark.
geeks.
You mean when Bane like gets them all in the
in the tunnels.
Well, like he gets them in the sewer, and then like they kind of lose hope and making them useless.
Who sent the entire police force into the tunnels though? That
It
was,
was the-
bad.
That was a really
That was
bad
a bad
call.
choice.
The,
Like,
That was a
Yeah.
ridiculously
Like,
bad
The
call. Like,
captain guy,
into a trap.
remember the captain guy? Who
yeah,
was
that
like,
retired. Like he,
Yeah, and
would
he
you
was
bury
like-
your uniform in the backyard?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
And then at the end, he died.
Yeah, that was sad.
He got shot.
But at the same, like it was still outnumbered. Like the police with Batman
hey, how you doing?
was like
I thought you had me.
less, like they were less useful than
Spock.
Bane's army. Like
Yeah. And here's the thing is, I feel like really a lot's been compromised because Bane figured out who Batman was, right? Doesn't like
That
he
crazy
thinks-
girl.
crazy girl, but whatever. But did he not tell his entire army, or was like keeping that to himself? Because like now every crook in Gotham knows who Batman is,
yeah.
except for that he fakes a new.
I'm sure. I'm like
And then who doesn't recognize Bruce Wayne? Like so, I don't
Yeah,
know.
like, do they
Like
ever
in
know
Batman
about-
versus Superman, like that's one of the things that they're really pulling on is that everybody knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Who's Bruce Wayne?
Batman. No, but what I'm saying is at the end where he fakes his death and he and Catwoman go and
Wait,
eat in
Yeah,
a
at
cafe.
that like
for
French
hours.
You're
beer
telling
tent.
me that no one notices that the like extremely successful. That'd be like
Billionaire.
Zuckerberg was like, "No, I'm faking my death," and then just goes and eats in a cafe.
He
Everybody'd
said
be like,
McDonald's.
"What are you doing, Zuckerberg? Like, get out of here." Or Trump.
And then, well,
Bruce Wayne is kind of like Donald Trump.
and if,
In a
well,
way,
how did nobody
With
recognize
less, like-
that Bruce Wayne was Batman when Joseph Gordon-Levitt recognized him because of like his eyes?
Yeah,
That's
It's
true.
like,
Yeah.
Whenever Batman is out, Bruce Wayne is missing. Like,
Plus-
can't put two and two together.
You want to talk about movie universes? If you go back, this is probably way before y'all's time, but there's a mid-'90s movie called 10 Things I Hate About You, which stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Heath Ledger,
Yes.
which means that Robin and the Joker went to high school together.
Yes. I did. That does make sense.
It's kind of crazy. Like,
Was he
they
like-
knew each other.
Was he like psycho during high school?
Well, he was like
Like
a
he
bad,
sang an entire song.
He sang a
of it.
song, sure, he sang a song, and he's typically the hero, but he was early in Heath Ledger's career. But it's possible, I mean, because he kind of plays an on the fence, kind of like, I'm kind of a bad boy. Maybe what happened was he went to high school, went off and joined the army, and that's why, because then there's that theory as well. How's the Joker know how to do this? Maybe he's had military training.
Yeah.
Obviously, so I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
You just watched Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee?
Yeah. That's how you-
Who watched Bruce Lee? What?
The Joker. That's how you learn his moves.
You think so? Just watching Bruce Lee movies? I've watched a lot of Bruce Lee movies. I still don't know karate. I don't understand that.
I thought y'all talking about E.T.
anyway, speaking.
Yes.
Thanks for
Perfect
the
segue.
Nice
Yeah.
segue. Thank you. Sorry.
As Blake has mentioned,
I never watched E.T.
Um,
I'm sorry. Kick me
Mr.
off.
Crow, involving the new Star Wars The Force Awakens movie, has come up with an incredible theory involving E.T. the extraterrestrial.
I can't take full credit for this. There is some internet fan theories involving E.T.'s prowess as a Jedi. So I can't claim that one. It was kind of thought about as E.T. as a Jedi. Thus the fact of if you haven't watched it, go see it. But don't go to Bellevue 8 because it's not on there. But a Redbox, a Netflix, McKay's, somehow get you a copy of E.T.
It might not be a red box.
I don't know if it's on.
I doubt
Probably
it's
not.
Yeah.
You may even have to go on VHS tape, and so that's sort of like vinyl. Listening to a record on vinyl is watching a movie on VHS. But I digress. So E.T. is this extraterrestrial, an alien that comes to Earth. He's found by this little boy, but they have to return him back home to his spaceship. He flies up. Directed by Steven Spielberg. There's a part in the movie where E.T. recognizes Yoda. Do we need to go into all this, or just sort of?
Probably.
No, I think.
E.T. recognizes a little boy dressed up as Yoda on Halloween. Says the word home, approaches the little boy dressed up as Yoda, and it acknowledges there that it exists in the same universe. So they're riding some bikes. E.T. at this point has done some cool things, just minor alien stuff, where he's like made some stuff in the kids' room move. Like he has a solar system and he points to it and like the planets begin to do this sort of rotation. So E.T.'s shown some signs that he can use the Force, but in the climax of the movie, they're riding these bicycles, the police are after them, they block them off. Why the police are chasing children on bicycles, that's a story for another day too. But they get to this roadblock and then they fly off. Well, the only way, there's no technology that E.T. is apparently using. He's basically not wearing any clothes, so it's not like he has some sort of ray gun or transporter or teleporter or anything. So you've got to go with E.T.'s using the Force. So they're flying their bicycles using the Force to make them fly. All these facts point to the fact that E.T. is a Jedi. So you think, because he's a good guy. However, E.T., before making the bicycles fly, dies. Spoiler alert again. Sorry, that was late. But he dies, and like they zip him up and stuff, and the kid's about to die, so they have had some sort of weird Force bond. And
The midichlorians.
Possibly. But E.T. dies, and the kid just like, oh, he's crying and stuff, and then E.T., through the power of love, we assume, comes back to life. And we're like, yay, E.T.'s alive, and then the kid's like, we got to get him out of here. And so that's when the bicycle chase takes place. But E.T. brought himself back to life, all right? Jedis can't bring themselves back to life. That's the reason that Anakin turns to the dark side, that we know of.
So saying the dark side can bring you back to life?
Well,
The Sith
that's
have
what
the
the
power
Sith,
to control
only
midichlorians.
one Sith was able to do that. And I think it was Darth Plagueis or something. Plagueis, yeah. Which is, so anyway, it's hinted that he's able to bring himself back to life. This is in the first trilogy. I think it's in Revenge of the Sith.
It is.
And so they mention this guy that's able. No, he's never shown. Now we should also say in Phantom Menace during the Senate scene there is a scene where there's ETs that are visible in the Senate scene. So again, you're connecting the two universes. Now, again, if ET recognizes Yoda, if the ET race of people is in there, you can then therefore connect that they're in the same universe. ET's bringing himself back to life. He's shown powers of a Jedi, now he's shown powers of a Sith. So, that's one theory. Now, the theory begins, who is Supreme Leader Snoke? Okay, now,
As indicated in Force Awakens.
Force Awakens,
He's the new guy.
it takes
Or
the
is
role, or is he? Or it takes sort of the Emperor role of the man pulling the strings behind the curtain. Now, so then my theory is that E.T., the extraterrestrial, is Supreme Leader Snoke. Is that he is Darth Plagueis, is Supreme Leader Snoke, and is now moving forward with his plans to take
Why
out.
does he want to be the bad guy when he was so good in E.T.?
Was he so good?
Maybe the galaxy doesn't
mean,
have Reese's
He
Pieces.
got lost, he wanted to go back home.
Yeah, so he could conquer the galaxy. He panicked, okay? Or did he? Or is he scouting out? Is he scouting out Earth? Like, hey, maybe he's looking for Starkiller Base. And he's looking for prospects.
By messing with not messing, but like hanging with a little boy.
What's he gonna do? Land on Earth and tell people he's here? Like, hey, by the way, I'm here to conquer the galaxy. Don't mind me, I'm just looking around.
Well,
He's keeping it on the DL.
He didn't act intelligent. It's like just act kind of
It's
slow.
Okay, go back. Let's go to another theory. In this, we talked about Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in Kung Fu, goes back to the Jar Jar theory. There is a Kung Fu style called Drunken Master. Okay, where the person doing the Kung Fu stumbles around in order to get their enemy off topic or off task and go, oh, he's drunk, and then you hit him with a fury of fists. E.T., he's coming down to Earth. This kid finds him. He doesn't expect to be found by this kid. And he's like, great, my plan's ruined. And he's like, I'll just act like a really dumb alien. I'm just saying, it's all a clever ruse by E.T.
Perhaps
He's
too
just
clever.
faking it.
He's faking it. He's one of the greatest minds in the galaxy. So he's not going to reveal himself to some little kid. He's just like, oh yeah, give me some candy. But legit, he runs away from the kid. He forms this one bond with the kid to make the kid do what he wants to do. I think he's an evil genius.
So if you think about it, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, George Lucas did the prequels, and not a whole lot of people liked them, but maybe it was all for that one reason. Maybe it was all.
to introduce him as Darth
Maybe it was
Darth
all-
Plagueis.
What has he
It's
been
all
doing
in
this
episode
whole
3.
time until The Force Awakens? What has E.T. been doing?
Well, okay.
Building
This
the
is
Star Killer base?
building Star Killer Base, and this brings up an interesting point. E.T. doesn't physically resemble Supreme Leader Snoke from what we can see. But maybe E.T., maybe he's been taking some hits. He's been having a battle. It's indicated in Revenge of the Sith that Plagueis was killed by Palpatine. Or it's implied, I would assume,
Yeah.
that Palpatine killed Plagueis.
They said he killed him in his sleep or something.
Yeah, but maybe, so maybe try to kill him. E.T. looked one way. You take a lightsaber to the face, it's gonna change your appearance. It's-
That is true.
there's no question
That
about
is true.
that. Lightsaber to the face will change anybody's appearance. And so I think,
Unless the way Palpatine killed E.T. was sending him to Earth thinking that he died.
it's true, maybe he did.
Maybe he lost his memory.
Maybe he did. Maybe he beat him into such a state, and it was sort of like the escape pods, where like in New Hope, the good Star Wars movies, jettisons an escape pod, okay? That's what hits Earth. He's there with just a couple of other guys, and they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I gotta go out, I gotta use the can or whatever. And he gets out, and they panic, and then they like, there's a TIE fighter on them, and they're like, they gotta get out of there. They bolt. Plagueis is like, man, I'm stuck here on Earth. Maybe that is why he seems good. He's hurt. He's wounded, and
He
he's
needs help.
He needs help, and he's
And
like,
so he's just milking it with that kid.
that's it. That kid kept him alive. That kid saved his life. Elliot did.
So you're saying Jedi, people in the Star Wars universe, now have the power to form bonds with your mind.
So wait. That means that Elliot is responsible for the fall of the Jedi Order, not Jar Jar.
I mean, Elliot's got a lot on his plate right now. But yeah,